Good evening. Thank you for joining us. We wanted to develop some resources and a way to help support parents through our phase one learning here at Claremont High School. So our normal classroom setting at this point in time is through Zoom. So we wanted to make sure that we had some resources to support you as a parent, that you can support your student being successful in Zoom participation in their classroom. So a couple of things that we thought were extremely important for students when to be successful in the Zoom classroom setting is being on time, making sure the students have a quiet place, making sure that students are prepared when they enter the Zoom classroom, their presentations, their appearance on the camera, letting them know how to mute and when to mute themselves, their participation, as well as how to use the chat feature responsibly, and communicating and being respectful. So on here, you have a couple of the CH online expectations. These were all delivered to your students. They were reviewed with your students in each of their classrooms, but it's great information for you as a parent on how you can support the online learning for your students. Number one is being on time. So it's encouraged. Make sure your students are setting an alarm and waking up early. Just like if we were going to school, it can be kind of disruptive if students are running into classroom when the bell is ringing. The same goes with the online learning, making sure that they're getting up early and they're logging into their class a few minutes early. By being late to class, if we're traditional or if we're online, there's valuable material that your student might miss by being a couple minutes late. It also avoids the issue, which we've had some concerns this year with technology. If you're having an issue with your internet or getting online, just being there a little bit early can help resolve some of those, and you can troubleshoot to make sure that you're getting to class on time. Finding a quiet place, especially with background information, it can be distracting for students to learn in an online environment if they're not in a quiet place. So this might be a bedroom, it could be a den, it could be a family dining room, but whatever is a quiet place that limits the distractions for the students where they can be productive and focus on the class. Being prepared. It's important now, just as it was when you're going to class, to being prepared. Making sure that your computer's charged or your iPad's charged. Making sure you have books and materials that are needed for that class. It is strongly encouraged, actually it's required now that students are logging onto the class and they're having their camera on. If for any reason the student wants to use a Zoom background, that's okay, but we want students to have their cameras on. Students who have their cameras on are more engaged, as well as the teachers are able to gauge whether a student is engaged in the classroom or if some needed supports might be needed. If headphones are available, making sure that students have headphones. Again, it's another way to limit distractions to be prepared for the classroom. And again, I'm going to throw it out there. Yes, if you have other electronic devices, cell phones, or those other things, please turn those off and keep those away. We want to make this as normal as possible as you would if you were attending a classroom live in person at Claremont High School. So place those cell phones off in a way that they're not going to distract your student during their learning during the Zoom. Presentation. Since cameras are going to be on, it's just simple dress code. What would be appropriate to wear if you were attending school at Claremont High School is what we expect students to be wearing on a Zoom call. Make sure you're sitting up and you're in view of the camera. It's important for those teachers to have that interaction and for you to be more engaged if you're in view of the camera. Also, muting yourself, being respectful for your teachers and other students. Have your Zoom on mute so that you're not distracting the teacher when she's speaking or when other students are speaking as well. So just being a respectful student and muting any background noise that might be there. Participation. Participation is encouraged, just like if we were in a normal classroom setting. We expect students to be focused, attentive, and also to be a participant, an active participant in the class. And again, a big reason why we are requiring students to have their cameras on during Zoom classroom learning. Using the chat. The chat is a great way and a resource that teachers are using to engage with students, as well as asking questions and answering questions. So making sure that students are keeping the chat appropriate, keeping it focused on the classroom conversations and content related chats that are going back and forth. Communicating is equally important with your teacher. Similar to a classroom setting, there's a raise your hand function on Zoom where students are able to raise their hand and they're able to communicate with the group. Teachers are using breakout rooms. So this is a way that they can create small groups. It's difficult to be in every small group or impossible to be in every small group. So a lot of responsibilities are going to be on the students. So again, it's important for you to be engaged and to be responsible in those breakout rooms and keep the conversations relevant to what's learning in there. And above all, we want our students to be respectful, showing pack pride, be kind, be considerate, be engaged in the learning. Again, we want to make this as close as possible to the classroom environment. So this is nothing new. It isn't anything different. It's just a different way of doing it virtually. But we always expected our students to be on time to the class. We expected them to be focused and to be prepared, to be appropriately dressed, and to participate. So again, the same expectations we held while we were in the classroom are the same expectations we expect students to have while engaged in online learning. All right, we're good.